Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here, and boy do I have a special firearm to show off today. In this case, there is a firearm that I have been waiting to come out for over 10 years. And I'm sure, based off of my channel name and the content that I create, you can probably guess what it is. But man, I have been waiting for this for so long. And when it finally came out, I was so excited. I just had to get one as soon as I could. And so I got one. And that is the Ruger Mini 14 50th Anniversary Edition. One thing that's really cool about it is it does come with a hard case. That is not something that Ruger typically sells with their long guns. They do, a lot of their handguns do come with a case, like their revolvers and some of their pistols. But I don't know, other than like the Ruger Red Label, at least, the second time they came out with it, it came with a case. But I don't know, if the Mini 14 or the 1022 or the Hawkeyes, the M77s, any of those guns, I don't know if any of those ever came with a case. Maybe some of them did at some point in time, maybe even way back before I started buying guns or before I was even born. But as far as I know, I've never seen any of their rifles come with a case. So that's just kind of a cool thing, considering that this rifle really wasn't that much more expensive than a regular standard Mini 14. So we open it up and you see it's still wrapped in plastic, but you obviously have your manual, you have your Picatinny rail, and this, all the hardware, and even some blue Loctite. So that's always nice to have, and of course, a couple of Allen wrenches. I think one of these is actually for adjusting the sight, maybe. You have a lock, and I have noticed that over the years they've actually cheaped out on their locks, because they used to come with a real hard padlock. Now they have this cheap cable lock thing, which, I guess who really cares, because nobody ever actually uses these things. It's just one of those mandatory things. And it comes with two 20-round magazines. So that's cool. A lot of their rifles will come with 5-round magazines, and some of them do come with 20-rounders, but it is nice that this particular one does come with two 20-rounders instead of just two 5-rounders. So anyway, if you give me a minute, I will take the rifle out of the plastic and we'll show the rifle off. Alright, so now that it's out of the plastic, I can show you just how beautiful this rifle actually is. But before I do that, I just want to talk about how Ruger, when they came out with this rifle, it seemed like they really didn't talk about it a whole lot. It's just I actually learned about it just from an Instagram story or something. It just popped up. And that was it. They didn't have any formal video or a formal Facebook post, at least not right away. It was just kind of a quick, 5-second thing that popped up and then it was gone. But I saw it the first day that it was that they showed it, and I was so excited. So the 50th Anniversary Mini 14 comes in an upgraded walnut stock with a wooden handguard, which is very reminiscent of their original Mini 14, the 180 series, and the 181. I don't know when they switched over to the plastic handguard, but at least the first 2 or 3 series that they had actually had the wooden handguard like this. So it is nice to see. It is very beautiful stock. It does have the slot in the stock and the cutout on this side, so that it can use an M1 carbine oiler and sling, that style of sling, and it has the side sling swivel, as opposed to having a sling swivel on the bottom like pretty much every other Mini 14 has. It has it on the side, so you can use an M1 carbine sling. So that's cool. It also has a flash suppressor, and it has a front sight that has a bayonet lug on it. So this is reminiscent of like the Mini 14s that they used for like prison guards and stuff, and I think there were even a few police agencies in the United States that actually used the Mini 14 at one point in time, and I think they did have the bayonet lug like this. Now, I personally think it's kind of weird that the front sight is so far back. And I get it, they made it like this because this is how they originally did it back in the day. But even for back in the day, to me it makes more sense you have your front sight all the way forward and just have a separate bayonet lug. But I guess it was just cheaper to make it this way. I don't know. It doesn't really matter either way, and it's still a good looking rifle. It just, as far as like actual like aiming purposes, it's just better to have a longer sight radius, so it makes more sense to have your sight all the way out there instead of in the middle of the barrel. And then, of course, it has the stainless steel accents, which the lighting might not do. Okay, so you can see the bolt is a polished stainless steel, and it is laser engraved, and it says, it's got a big 50, and it says 50 years, 1975 to 2025 Ruger Mini 14. And it also has like an outline, a silhouette of the Mini 14 in the 0. If the camera will focus, this is not, there it is. So as you can see, it's pretty nice. And it also has a polished stainless steel mag release and a polished stainless steel trigger. So that's cool. Now, my particular model, the laser engraving isn't as nice as I would have liked it to be. It's like very thin in some areas. I guess that's okay. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of the actual bolt and the actual laser engraving. I think, they could have kept the stainless steel, but if they would have just maybe like put something on the receiver that said like 50th anniversary or whatever, that would have been better than actually putting it on laser engraving on the receiver, because I think this might actually wear off over time, or at least fade. I don't know, but as I can tell that it's already fading. And one other thing that I think is a little bit disappointing is, you might not be able to see it, but right here, just behind where the bayonet lug is, there's a little bit of rust. So I don't know what that's about, but I'll have to put a little steel wool on that. But other than that, I mean, as far as the stock goes, I didn't notice any imperfections in the stock, like any scratches or scuffs or anything like that. Pretty much just the laser engravings being a little thin in some places, and then that one little nick in the barrel where there's a little bit of rust. But other than that, this is a beautiful rifle, and dare I say it, this might be, out of all the guns in my collection, this might end up being my favorite gun overall. I would like to, some people might not actually shoot these. I would like to shoot this one. Now, this won't be like my go-to Mini 14. I'll probably just keep my my original Mini 14 that I have from way back in the day. That'll be my go-to, and then I have another one with a scope, and I have a Mini 30. I would probably go to all those. Like if I needed a rifle for defense, or if I needed one to bug out with, I would go with one of those. Probably my original Mini 14 over this, just because this is a beautiful rifle, and I don't want to mess it up or anything, but I would like to shoot it every once in a while, just because I like Mini 14s, and Mini 14s are cool. Now, I did say at the beginning of this video that I've been waiting for this rifle for 10 years, actually probably more like 11 years at this point, and that's because whenever Ruger came out with the 50th anniversary 1022 model, they actually were doing like a contest to see which, what model, what design everybody wanted. So everybody would vote. People would submit designs, and then people would vote on like the top 5 designs, and then whatever won is what it was. And that was cool back in the day, and that was 2014 when they came out with the 50th anniversary 1022. And the one I voted for actually didn't win. We'll talk about that in another video, I guess. But, whenever they came out with the 50th anniversary 1022, I thought, man, it would be really cool if they came out with a really nice 50th anniversary Mini 14 when the 50th anniversary came around. Now, I do know that the Ruger Mini 14, it was designed, I believe, in 1973, and the first year of production and rifles sold were 1974. So I don't really know why Ruger waited until this year to do the 50th anniversary, because really the 50th anniversary should be 2024 and not 2025, even though the Bolt actually says 1975 to 2025. If you look up like the Mini 14s, the 180 series Mini 14, you'll see that the 180 series Mini 14 actually came out in 1974. So when they didn't come out with a 50th anniversary Mini 14 last year, 2024, I was very disappointed. I thought they weren't even going to come out with one. And then for some reason, like almost at the end of 2025 is when they came out with the 50th anniversary Mini 14. And man, did they deliver, because this package right here is what I believe a good 50th anniversary model looks like. The 1022, the one they came out with, it had a synthetic stock with adjustable cheek combs or whatever, and I think it was stainless steel, which is cool. I do like stainless steel. And it had like Mini 14 style sights and stuff. But like it wasn't reminiscent of the original 1022. And I actually ended up getting a standard standard wood stock 1022 with the 50th anniversary engravings on it, much like this, but it wasn't the official 50th anniversary 1022. But it's still a little bit more special than just a regular 1022. So I didn't really feel like the 1022 50th anniversary was like a very good choice, in my opinion. Because to me, a 50th anniversary or 75th anniversary or whatever type of firearm should be very, very special, very beautiful, especially when the original rifle or pistol came, looking something like this. I also have a 70th anniversary Mark IV, which I think they did a really good job on that one as well. The only thing I wish they did different on that one was put wood grips on it, and they did come out with a 75th anniversary Mark IV as well. I didn't end up getting that one just because I wasn't really in the market for buying guns at the time. I guess that came out last year. I would have loved to have gotten one of those, but I didn't have the money to spare at the time, so I didn't get one of those. But I really wish I would have gotten one. But anyway, that is the Ruger Mini 14 50th anniversary. I might do a more in-depth review of this particular model. I might compare it to some of my other Mini 14s and some of the other guns that I have in my collection. So I will do quite a few videos on this rifle in the future, probably even some shooting videos at some point, probably when it warms up, because it is getting into be winter pretty soon. But probably in the spring I'll take this out, and even some other guns, and I'll take it out, shoot it, do some videos with it. But yeah, this is definitely a very beautiful gun, and I was very excited to be able to add this one to my collection. Like I said, I've been waiting for this for over 10 years, and I really feel like Ruger delivered.
Hey, before I go, I just thought I'd remind everybody that I do have a second channel called Redneck Off the Range. Over there, I post most of my non-gun related content, so whether it's a video on my new tractor, my power tools, my projects that I'm working on, maybe wild game recipes, or just a random vlog, I post all of this kind of content over on my secondary channel. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, go check it out, Redneck Off the Range. But that's all for this video, so subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm Redneck Mini 14, and until next time, be safe.